All right, good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in with us this evening. And we are live on Ripple FX Canada, as well as Cape Breton Live TV. This is Rebecca while tuning in with Mike Kelloway checking in. Mike has been kind enough, our local MP here in this area, to give us an update on anything that he is aware of. And so I'm going to be bringing him on as well tonight is a gratitude shout out to frontline workers. I think sometimes in Cape Breton, we don't tie into as much media as we have access to find out who the frontline workers are. So tonight it's about giving a shout out of gratitude to some of those people who are out there. So welcome to tonight's show, Cape Breton. And if you have anything that you'd like to put in the comments, I'm not saying that Mike will be able to address everything, but at least they'll be in the comments. And I know he does take notes and tries to get back to everyone. He also posts his communication line to access as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mike Kelloway. Here we go. There we go.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. It's a jam-packed day, but it's coming together, and I'm just glad to see your face on here so that we can tune in to the latest and the greatest.
I know.
How are you doing? How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing very well. Easter was pretty busy. Had enough time to have turkey and potatoes and bring some out to my mom in Glace Bay while adhering to social distancing. But it was a pretty busy weekend. Dealing with a lot of challenges, a lot of moving parts. One in particular is first and foremost on my mind every hour is with respect to the fishery, which kudos to you and to Nancy for a great interview. I thought it was one that was real, authentic. It's what I'm hearing. I'm talking to fishers almost on an hourly basis, processors, harvesters, people in small communities, in the rural communities where fishing takes place. It's part of our life. It's part of our culture. It really hit me actually, and many calls have, and Nancy's comments were spot on. Where I'm dealing with people that are worried and concerned and frightened, not just for themselves but their families and their communities. And one of the questions, the latter question she asked was around, do I think there's a split between those that want to fish and do not want to fish according to region of the island? And then when I gave that interview, was on another platform, it seemed to be that way. But I can say categorically that a lot of fishers out there are asking the questions. Number one, concerns about health. The secondary is concerns of market. And my observation is that we need to do everything humanly possible to protect the health of the individuals, their colleagues, their families, and communities. And at the same time, we do have fishers that do want to fish, and I believe that needs to be clear rules, strict rules, and enforceable rules around that. But I've been advocating for quite some time, and I want to thank the fishers out there for giving me a tutorial in Fishing 101 over the past 3 weeks. The meetings that I've been in, the conversations that I've had are amazing. They're thought-provoking, and some of the recommendations that have come from fishers have gone directly from my office under my signature to the Minister of Fisheries, the Minister of Finance. Things such as looking at, what can we do for those that can't fish around a basic income? What measures can be taken place to assist those that, for a variety of reasons, would prefer to stay on land this year, while at the same time looking at those individuals that do want to fish. So, Nancy, I want to say that, the more and more fishers I talk to right across my riding, there is certainly that trend of people being exceptionally concerned, worried, and frightened by going out on the ocean. So my role as your MP is to advocate for you, and that's what I've been doing. So I've been on the horn with DFO consistently, providing feedback from you, feedback around the opportunity to look at things such as the new CERB and looking at other measures that we need to provide if there is a modification of the fishery. And that I'm forever grateful. And so Nancy, great question. I don't think there's a difference between one side of the island or the other, but there's nuances in different areas. But my goal is to put forward the measures that I think that need to be reviewed for Bernadette, Minister Jordan, that comes from you. And I've been on the horn religiously. I think my nickname will be the bee in the bonnet because I'm buzzing around Ottawa a lot with, in particular, with the fishery. But this comes second nature to me. I'm not a fisher, but my mother's family, the Fords of Lower Main Street, are, and it's generational. And when I'm talking to a fisher, I'm talking to my cousin, my variety of cousins that are Rocky Ford's cousins, are children from Lower Main. I'm talking to the fisher in Ganesh or Shettycamp or Guysborough. So there is work to do here. I listened as well to Minister Jordan's interview on CBC Information Morning Halifax. And what I took from that is that they are looking at measures to assist the fishery. And Nancy made a good point. I did not hear the replacement of an income, but also what I didn't hear, and I think that gives me some solace here, is that there are measures that can assist fishers, such as CERB and other types of benefits that can assist people to have the basics. I'm not saying that's happening. I want to be categorical in that. I can tell you what I'm advocating in my office. In my office, every day on this file, it's more than a file, it's family. That I want to make sure people are safe, secure. When it comes to health protocols, for example, I ask those questions too. You're on a boat, 6 feet social distancing, how does that work? If there is fishing, and let's say it's a modified fishery for this year, there has to be, and I'll be adamant as your MP, there has to be health protocols from the province that are adhered to. We don't want anyone getting sick. We don't want communities in fear, and they are now. And I want you to know that I'm advocating every day for you, and I'm hoping for the art of the possible. And I talk a lot about this in my community development work, and I talk a lot about this in politics. The art of the possible is looking at what is the compromise here that helps the many. And I think that this government has showed that, how quickly in 14 days we're getting money up the door with the emergency benefit. First day last week, Monday, 240,000 applications. We're in millions now. So the art of the possible is absolutely within the realm of what we can do. And I really, really appreciate Nancy's comments, and I look forward to talking to her. What I would say, and I've seen this firsthand, Rebecca, like literally firsthand.
Yeah.
There was 5 days before we were asked to write briefing notes to the Minister of Finance and other cabinet ministers on what we thought should go in a first response package or response stimulus measures, the ones we see now. We were asked 5 days before that. We put in, my team, we listened to the riding, all the different sectors. We saw a lot of what was in our briefing note reflected in the first measures, to the point where the minister's office reached out to us and said, way to go, a lot of what you talked about was reflective in the first series of measures. But I also want to say that I've seen firsthand when I've talked to small and medium-sized enterprise, because I was a small business owner 20 years ago, but I was. When I talked to the small and medium-sized enterprise owners, after we released that there would be a 10% wage subsidy, I heard loud and clear from my friends, my colleagues, and people I didn't know across this riding that, Mike, we need to do better than 10% wage subsidy. And so myself and probably a dozen plus MPs really rallied around and met with ministers in question, ministers of finance and ministers of economic development. And we pushed the 75% wage subsidy idea. And that comes from you. And what I would say, and why I'm bringing this up, is that you talk about playing a role and being the authors of your destiny. I firmly believe that all of us are co-authors of that. We're authors of our destiny in many ways with how we respond to COVID. And I would also say that we're also co-authors in how we respond to sectoral challenges or sectoral crises in a health crisis. So you and Nancy spoke, I think, very eloquently of the fact that, for the associations that want to look at an alternative to fishing and looking at measures to assist fishers and processors and anyone that touches the ocean's economy, send your comments either to me or to the minister directly in the minister's office, and let your voice be heard. It's absolutely essential. I've seen firsthand, again, with the 75% wage subsidy and my office and 12 others pushing hard, that the art of the possible is achievable.
So, viewers, in case you are not familiar, Mike, I know there's a lot of people that recently joined Facebook to actually tune in. This was an interesting media observation for myself, that a lot of people weren't using Facebook, but because it's a platform that is a generic, it's really getting a broader audience. Definitely, you guys, Mike has a page on Facebook. His office is, of course, not open right now, but he can be reached, and we're going to post that link in the comments. Once again, I want to remind viewers, please feel free to post anything. Reasonable and relevant comments will be shown on screen. It's not a guarantee that we address them all, but at least your comments are there, and Mike can reach you back or have you call him after the the broadcast is over. So thanks, Mike.
No
is there anything else you want to get out in terms of updates aside from the fishing industry right now? Is there any other updates you might have for us?
Well, there are a couple. One is just around the Canada Summer Jobs. So that was announced last week. And so there are some pretty deep modifications to the Canada Summer Jobs program. So I'm not sure if your viewers are aware of it, but there are temporary changes for this year. We're going to increase the wage subsidy so that private and public sector employers can receive up to 100% of the provincial hourly wage for employees. We're extending the date for employment to February 28th, 2021. So I think they're going to have to rename the summer grant program to winter and fall, but that's good. It elongates the year by which you can employ people, allowing employers to adapt their projects and job activities to support essential skills. I believe one of your next guests may actually benefit from this. And also allowing employers to hire staff on a part-time basis. So, Rebecca, what this means is that once we get the program up and going, we have a longer time frame by which to work with. We can work with students and employers on a part-time basis to meet a particular programming activity that touches with essential skills to some degree, adhering to health protocols, of course. And the ages are from 15 to 30. So you're covering high school and university. So we're looking at creating about 70,000 jobs. One of the many areas that after you put your first response package out, you get to see where things need to be tightened up and where you need to fill gaps that have such an impact on people's lives. One of them was students. So this is one major way that I believe we're going to be able to help students. There'll be more measures on the way with respect to students, but these particular items that will be added to the Canada Summer Jobs Program are pretty flexible and adaptable. And also, too, we'll be looking at somebody missed a particular deadline with Canada Summer Jobs. We'll be looking at seeing where we can open that up to some more businesses, especially ones that are, have some innovative ways they want to interact with the community as it relates to COVID or some other health issue or challenge.
Okay. And viewers too, I just want to say I went on there. It's very user friendly. The interface to going on my CRA as well. I thought it was going to take longer than I expected, and it was a couple questions. It also said in big black letters, if you feel like you made a mistake or something to that effect, we'll we'll rectify that. So that
Yeah.
put me at ease.
Well,
sure.
and also too,
Yeah.
Rebecca, the calls that I got last week were from people saying, I filled it out. It was really simple. I think I did something wrong. And just because it's very fluid, but there have been some hiccups with obviously such a large initiative put together in a short period of time. But if you receive some type of overpayment, don't worry about it. The Service Canada will reach out to you. If you received an overpayment, keep it. CRA will reach out to you and they'll work something out. So don't sweat this, folks. I know it's stressful, but when it comes to receiving if there's some type of glitch with your payment, just remember, reach out to Service Canada. They'll come back to you in 2 to 3 days. We've got your back on this. No ill intent when you're filling out these forms. I know sometimes there's a mistake on our end. We just have to keep our, keep cool, and we'll get through it together.
And I think you brought out a great point last Monday, is that even yourself, the updates are hourly sometimes. So it's not like you have all the answers right away in that given moment. But
I really do. I really wish I did. I got to tell you, because a lot of people are out there, they're worried and they're concerned. But I can say this categorically. The issues that are brought up in my riding are heard in Ottawa. I make sure of that and I follow up with it. I'm a little bit of a dog with a bone for those that know me. It's just my style, but in a good way. But we know that there is lots to do and there is more to do to help people. And I'm hearing that. I'm feeling for everyone. But more than that, my office is making sure that we articulate your words to Ottawa.
So I just want to acknowledge, I won't be able to get to your comments just for timing, but again, Mike will get a copy of this after it's over, and he can see the comments as well after. But I just want to acknowledge the viewers that have posted comments. Michael Marsh, I can see yours, Josephine Kennedy, Cyril Dix, and Nancy Wadden, Charlotte McClellan, Johnny Lariche, Brian Morgan Hooter, Kent Morford, April and Chris Lehman. All your comments I will have documented after as well. So just want to let you know that. Now, I want to, Mike, I'm looking forward to this little moment here because I'm telling you, as soon as I had some help too, I'm going to admit, Heather Grant.
Amazing.
She's been amazing helping me. And after the show's over here, we have a little something as a tribute, as a thank you to our frontline workers. But without further ado, I'd like to bring on someone and have her come on screen here with us. She's the CEO of BAC, the Breton Ability Center, and Miss Harman Singh. There we go. She's on.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well.
Good. Thank you, Rebecca, for having me on the show. Really excited, especially because it's a huge shout out to the front line that is helping us through this.
Yes, most definitely. Now, Mike, can I let you take over from here for a minute and just give a shout out of thanks and what you've noticed on Cape Breton Island that we're all grateful to have right now with the frontline workers?
Oh, they're the backbone. They're the backbone on a given day, but we have a whole new appreciation during a crisis like this, whether you're working at Breton Ability, whether you're working at any one of our many clinics, whether you're a janitor, whether you are a personal care worker, CCA, an LPN, a nurse, a doctor, a healthcare administrator, first responders like paramedics and fire department and the police, of course. And then I think of people like fishers, who were, we talked a fair bit about them on this show. How much we need these folks, and I've said this before. Especially during this time, I think we all kind of gravitate toward Netflix or some type of platform channel, and we, one of the biggest series shows is The Avengers, or there's Iron Man, and there's superwoman, but actually, and all seriousness, we have leaders in our riding, in the riding of Cape Breton Council, all over Cape Breton Island in northeastern Nova Scotia, all over Canada, from coast to coast to coast, that are doing so much. They're working so hard, and when they wake up, they have families. They're worried, they're concerned, but they go about their jobs. And if you check out social media on any platform, Twitter, Ripple FX, Facebook, so forth and so on, and you see these tributes, they're moving and they're powerful. And where would we be without the men and the women who are on the front lines? It's an amazing time to be alive, to see this. Unfortunately, we're seeing it during a crisis situation, but this is what first responders do, and they're doing it every day, every hour of every day.
Yeah. So, and Harman, now you're CEO of the Breton Ability Center, and I had an opportunity to just briefly look over this initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and your role there, and anything? Yeah, just bring us up to speed on that, because I remember it growing up in Cape Breton.
So Breton Ability is one of the two largest facilities in Nova Scotia that supports people with a wide variety of intellectual disabilities. And we like to refer to that as varying abilities. And believe it or not, we are one of the larger employers in the island, on the island, employing around 340 plus staff. We have our larger facility houses 87 individuals, and they run from the age of 16 and up. And then we have 5 community homes. And really the niche that we have established is that we support some of the most complex individuals that are in the province that unfortunately cannot be supported elsewhere. So we have shifted our model, and we are now under the social model of support, which is really focusing on the person's abilities rather than letting them live under the shadow of their disabilities. And it's funny, I was thinking when, the state of emergency was declared and social distancing became a big thing and people were essentially isolating, it kind of struck me to say that our residents, our participants have lived in isolation for all their lives. And we've been asked to do it for a little bit, and we are struggling so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it really brought forward something that, as I hope that people will become kinder and more accepting of varying abilities. And, I have to say, in Cape Breton, I don't know if you followed our Valentine's Day campaign. We did a campaign just before COVID, and I'm glad we did it because it was amazing. And you saw the love of this community. And you know what? It filled my pocket. And I'm telling you, that fill is seeing me through this process so far, because I know that we are not alone in this.
Yeah.
And it truly, truly showed what an amazing community. We got a letter from the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. I mean, I was like, we were so thrilled. We were like, okay, Justin, you acknowledged us. So, I mean, it had such a far-reaching effect. So, my point is that, Cape Breton as a society has demonstrated, as a community has demonstrated, that we can overcome anything. And I am confident that we will be able to overcome this. And I have to commend our leaders, our politicians, and Mike is here. Mike and I have go a long, long way. And I'm not just saying it because he's here.
I know.
But I think people need to stop for a minute and stop criticizing and really start saying thank you for the awesome leadership, both at the federal level and at the provincial level. Dr. Strang is going to be my best friend. I feel like I know him because I listen to him every day at 3:00.
We do.
Yeah.
So Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Harman. And I was also, I had a chance to talk to your daughter as well, and just the quality of life, or the independence that you're, the inclusivity and the independence, quality of life that you're promoting at the Breton Ability Center. I what do I want to say here? It's just giving a good place for to be supported there. You have a really wide range of resources.
Yeah, so we have programs that run right from, it's not just a care-based model. So obviously we look after people who, have physical needs, but our goal is really, really to promote independence. And we do that through our training programs. We have a fully functional learning and employment center that has some absolute state-of-the-art programs that help these people learn skills that will lead them to independence. Our goal is to move as many people that we can move safely into community living options. And that is where we are heading, and we're going to continue to head. There is a little bit of a pause because of everything that's going on, but our goal is that as many people who can safely live in communities will be out there. So we have supported employment opportunities. Our folks work in at the Hampton Inn, for example. They work in that hotel doing various jobs, and they do them fairly independently. Our social enterprise, the Best of Cape Breton Gift Shop, employs residents not only that live at Breton Ability, but also that live in other small option homes across the Sydney area. So, we do promote that in everything. Our philosophy is embedded in that, is to increase independence.
Well, and in the last few months, I've been, made aware of so many resources that we have in Cape Breton. And, it goes without saying that you never have everything you want in a place, but we definitely do have some resources here that aren't possibly advertised as much as we know about. So that's an opportunity. Just having you on tonight to hear about this is reassuring that Cape Breton is always moving forward in the right direction. So
yeah, definitely. And we have a very, very talented team, and we've established a wonderful relationship with the Nova Scotia Community College. And actually, Mike, in his previous role, did some customized training options for us. And I think that is what we need to raise the profile of people who go into these fields, because I think this field, especially people working with people with intellectual disabilities, you need that very special. It's about your heart. Yeah. It's about the knowledge, but it's largely about kindness and the ability to build relationship. And we did this fabulous customized training program, actually 2 of them that Mike was very instrumental in. And those relationships help really spread the word about who we are, what we are, and what we do.
Well, I got to give it to you, Harman, because your daughter, she squeaked out the fact that you have been working almost 24 days straight. So I want to thank you, because I'm not sure if I could pull that off. So.
Well, you know what it is, you do it because you're in this for the right reason. I'm doing this because, first of all, again, I'm very well supported. I'm very well supported, not only by my family, but by my team at Breton Ability and across the province. We are a very, very strong network, and we meet twice a week. We get together, we brainstorm, we share our concerns, we cry. And my management team, they are absolutely amazing. It's not just me that's running straight. It is my management team. And people don't get it, but our frontline staff, I'm telling you, they're the unsung heroes of all this. And, the Premier said today that if we want to show our appreciation, let's make some noise for the frontline staff. And I am telling you, I don't know how they do it. I've heard this analogy on numerous provincial calls. We are flying in a plane that we haven't yet built. Yeah. And it's a scary experience.
That is so true.
And for our frontline staff that are they're providing care day to day, their minds, they have families at home. They are worried about, carrying that infection back, getting infected. How is it? And navigating their fear, their anxiety, and still being able to show up to work and to provide the care and to smile. If you look at our Facebook page and you look at the Easter celebrations and the different activities that our frontline staff put together, you would think, you know what, there is not a care in the world outside, but that is what they do. And I think people need to recognize how they're doing it. And I'm telling you, Mike said earlier, where would we be without all these people? And I would echo what Mike said. Not only healthcare frontline, but you look at the grocery store clerks, you look at the truck drivers that are making sure produce is getting in, the pharmacists, everyone. And I think, I think I'm very, very blessed that I am supported by, I would say, probably the most awesome team in Canada. And I want to thank them for being the wind beneath my wings, for taking me through this, and my family, of course. It's been a sacrifice. I don't think I'm here. I'm not present when I'm here. My mind is just running a mile a minute, trying to figure out the next crisis. So.
Well, Harman, again, I want to thank you very much for coming on with us tonight. And we do have a little bit of noise here at the end to share with our viewers. And we couldn't get everyone on the same clip, but we wanted to share it anyway, just as a token of appreciation. Mike, is there anything you want to say out there before we close this broadcast tonight to everyone watching? This is the most viewers we've had on the Monday night show because it's become a regular look forward to, episode. So is there anything you want to say before we close?
Harman, just a shout out to you and again to your team. I know many of them well, and what you and your team and the board have done with Breton Ability is something really to be modeled if it's not being modeled already. So congratulations, Rebecca. In all sincerity, you talked about it earlier on. This platform really provides an opportunity to get factual information out, to have an honest discussion. None of us have all the answers here, but I think if we approach this the way we normally approach any crisis, is that we stick together, we got each other's backs, we try to help each other. Listen to the recommendations of Dr. Strang and Dr. Tam, and we're going to get through this. And that's my message. That's everybody's message. It's going to be tough times, but we'll get out of it. And a platform like this just really illustrates the importance of connecting each other together on a consistent basis. So thanks so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for supporting it, Mike. Appreciate it. This is a 2-minute clip here in closing, and we're hoping Mike and Harman might stay on while we show this here.
Sure,
I'll just bring
absolutely.
it up here.
Yeah.
All right. We'll pull it up here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My apologies. Want to thank everybody for coming on. Okay. No, I want to testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I wanted to show the Facebook clip that we made. Hi, Jordan. No, we're not live now. We'll be live in a moment as soon as I connect my camera and the Facebook. My glasses are so stretched. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. I'm going to bring it up on screen. Stop. Don't play like that, Facebook. Click to enter full screen. There we go. Okay, we're going to go live for why won't that go full screen is what I want to know. Okay, I am going live. Good evening, viewers. We were just on, we had some technical difficulties, but we did a shout out of gratitude to our frontline workers. So I'd like to put that up now. And thanks for supporting our show and for watching. And this, I couldn't fit everyone in. I also want to give a shout out of thanks to Heather Grant from Viewpoint. She did a phenomenal job posting the thank yous and credits to the people I'm about to show in this upcoming clip. So if you recognize any faces, throw up some hearts. Thanks a lot. And if you watch this afterwards, please push #replay in the comments, share, and start a watch party if you like, since we did address quite a few topics this evening. Mike Kelloway comes on Monday nights at 8 o'clock, and Sean is coming on here in about 8 minutes with live music, incredible music show with live show with musicians in Atlantic, Canada, specifically Cape Breton. But so stay tuned for Sean's show shortly after this clip.